Welcome back to Colbert on Golf, presented by Midland Exteriors. I'm Kevin Keatsman, along with Jim Colbert. We're talking about the Open Championship and a couple of the seniors we'll get into here. And one of those is from Kansas City, Tom Watson, playing in his final British Open at St. Andrews, and it's going to be a big, big deal. He's won 5 of these, almost won a 6th British Open a few years ago at Turnberry in a very historic playoff loss to Stuart Sink. Tom Watson still playing at a high level, and he's out here at the Open. He's won this thing 5 times, Jim. I think this is probably what he's known for more than anything else, was the way he competed in the British Open.
No question. Yeah, 5 British Open titles. I think Peter Thompson from Australia had 5. There's only 2 of them, I think, that have that many British Open titles, and Tom is one of them. And, I mean, it's a real feat. Because of the weather there. The weather in the British Open can be anything. I mean, a few years back, Tiger was trying for the Slam. And the second day he got out there, and I mean, this storm hit and this weather hit, and he was lucky to shoot 81. Anybody that played during those 2 or 3 hours, they were out the gate. That's another thing that can happen to Jordan or any other name we mentioned. If you're on the wrong side of the field or even in the few hours, when something bad comes in weather-wise, just the weather can put you away. And for Tom to survive it 5 times, and a couple of them were great. That big shootout they had where he and Nicklaus were playing at Turnberry. They both shot 66-65 or 65-66. Watson hit it really close on the 18th hole. Jack had driven down the right side into the brush and got it out on the green. And Jack ran in a 40-footer. He made Tom make that 4-footer. That was duel in the sun because the sun was out when those last few days. But the British Open's got, it's just called the Open. I mean, it is worldwide. It's the premier event because of the British Empire back in the day and where it went everywhere in the world.
Well, the Open Championship is Thursday through Sunday at St. Andrews. Now, Tom Watson, obviously still a Champions Tour member, and we had an interesting week last weekend on the Champions Tour. This tour was so good to you, Jim, and I'd like for you to speak maybe a little bit about, what it does for... You'd won on the regular tour. You were an accomplished player and had multiple wins on the regular PGA Tour, but for some guys, it's almost like a completely new career. A fella named Jerry Smith won the Encompass Championship last weekend, and I had to look him up because I've never heard of him. He holed out from a bunker for eagle on the 16th hole, and I looked up Jerry Smith. He has 1 tournament win to his name. It was the 1998 Guam Open. I don't even know what that is, and I'd never heard of Jerry Smith until this week, but that Champions Tour is a great place to start a new career or to do some great things. I'm guessing that was just a huge win for Jerry Smith.
Unbelievable. And I don't even know how to fake it. I don't know who Jerry Smith is. So I know where Guam is out in the middle of the Pacific. But anyway, it's called the Mulligan of Life. It's the Great Mulligan of Life, which is the senior tour. And it's hard to get on. It's built for the successful players from the PGA Tour coming on to the senior circuit because there's 2, 3, 4 pro-ams a week. It's corporate sponsorships. They bring in their customers, their existing customers, and entertain them for the 3 or 4 days. It's all built on the name recognition of the guys from the PGA Tour, and it's a transitional way to go. Now it's been a little bit more difficult because the guys known as there, the 50-year-olds, go back and forth because they stay in shape, can still play. And they don't spend their entire time there when they're 50, 51, 52, somewhere around 53, 54, they start just committing totally to the senior tour, or the Champions Tour we call it now. And it is, everybody says, well, who's going to play? This guy's made so much money, he's not going to play, or Tiger's not going to play, or whatever. Everybody plays. That's what we do. I was doing ESPN. I had a golf course company. I was never going to play. And, I was covering them on TV. I got to do this. I sold my position in my company just to go play and quit doing ESPN. It's what golfers do. And at 50, as you know, you just turned there. You're pretty alive, pretty young at 50. And compared to what whatever anybody wanted to call the old days. So it is a great opportunity. But for a guy like Jerry Smith just to get in and then win, well, that's a huge accomplishment.
And the reason players play, and I guess we're just a few years away from Phil Mickelson being out there, and maybe your thoughts on the state of the tour itself, but the reason guys play, obviously for Jerry Smith, he got a nice check here, made almost $300,000. That's probably a pretty big deal to him. He hasn't won a whole lot of golf tournaments in life, but everybody's out there to compete. You're out there trying to win that trophy and feel. You always talk about this, how you feel alive when you're competing, and it's really right. Gutted out time, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we do, and it's the same guys. And I managed to win 8 tournaments on the regular tour. That doesn't sound like a lot, but just check everybody's record.
Right.
I made them win 8 times on the regular PGA Tour, but I was better in my 30s and my 20s, and I was much better in my 40s, and I was better in my 50s, and I was pretty good in my 60s. Call me a slow learner, just can't call me dumb. But I beat all those guys that beat me during the regular career, but nobody on the Champions Tour or the Senior Tour confuses the record from the regular tour to the Senior Tour. I won what I won. I won 27 on the senior circuit, and that adds up 35, yeah. But the record, your lifetime record, comes from the PGA Tour, and rightly so.
Well, it's a fabulous tour. I hope it can grow a little bit. I know for quite a while the TV issues were out there, but they seem to have figured a lot out, and there's real good relationships with the senior majors, and those are heavily televised, and it seems to be they seem to have figured some of the problems out that they had maybe a decade ago. Does it seem that way to you?
Well, when I played it, I came through at the absolute perfect time. You had Nicklaus, you had Gary Player, you had Lee Trevino, then you had Chi-Chi, you had Ray Floyd, Hale Irwin, Dave Stockton, some of the international players. You had Tony Jacklin. I mean, we were the show, because in between Nicklaus and Tiger there was like 12 or 13 years. And we had all the big endorsement money was coming towards the seniors. And the regular tour, they said, well, everybody's so good now, the young kids, nobody's going to win multiple tournaments a year. They're all just going to be really good players, no superstars. Excuse me, here comes Tiger. Excuse me, here comes Jordan Spieth. Somebody always crawls to the top. But there was 10 or 12 years when there was a lot of really good players. Matter of fact, the face of that tour was Greg Norman for 8 or 10 years. And a great personality, well-known, looked good on television, lost a lot of tournaments, do a lot of freak things. But his record was not a Nicklaus record, a Player record, a Trevino record, a Watson record. He was good for the circuit, but he wasn't the quality of a superstar.
We're hanging out, having some fun, talking golf with Jim Colbert. Colbert on Golf continues. We'll talk a little celebrity golf, big celebrity tournament in Lake Tahoe this week. More on that next here on Colbert on Golf.
You're listening to Colbert on Golf, built by Midland Exteriors. Online at midlandexteriors.com. Midland Exteriors, we've thought of everything.